You know it's going to be one of those days when you're looking for your wallet in your wife's purse, and instead find a bottle of premium personal lubricant that definitely wasn't purchased for your benefit. Next to it, a box of birth control pills, the expensive kind, completely different brand from what she's been using for the past 3 years. And tucked beneath both, a small bottle of men's cologne that sure as hell wasn't mine. I'm Jake Rodriguez, 35, and I weld industrial equipment for a living here in this dusty Texas town, where everybody knows everybody's oil change schedule. Been doing precision metal work for 15 years, ever since I graduated high school and decided college wasn't for me. My hands are permanently stained with metal dust and welding residue, but they're steady hands, the kind that can run a perfect bead on quarter-inch steel or detect a hairline crack in a pressure vessel from 20 feet away. The shop where I work, Rodriguez Welding and Fabrication, no relation, different Rodriguez family, sits on the industrial side of town, sandwiched between a trucking company and a grain elevator. We handle everything from oil field equipment to hospital ventilation systems, which is how I know more about industrial chemistry than most people expect from a guy who works with fire and metal all day. My wife, Sophia, works as an administrative coordinator for Hutchinson Medical Supply, a fancy outfit that sells equipment to hospitals across the Southwest. She's 32, been climbing that corporate ladder since we got married 8 years ago, always talking about advancement opportunities and networking events. Used to love that ambition about her. Used to. Standing in our kitchen that Tuesday morning, holding evidence of my wife's extracurricular activities, I felt something cold and calculating settle in my chest. The same feeling I get when I'm preparing to make a critical weld on a high-pressure system. Everything slows down, every detail becomes important, and there's no room for mistakes. Most guys would storm into their wife's office, make a scene, demand explanations, but I've always been the methodical type, the guy who reads welding specs twice and checks his measurements 3 times before making a cut. You don't survive 15 years in industrial welding by being impulsive. You survive by being patient, precise, and always thinking 3 steps ahead. The lubricant was high-end stuff, the kind that costs more than a week's worth of lunches. The birth control pills were a different pharmaceutical company entirely, different dosage from the ones I'd been seeing in our medicine cabinet for years. But it was the cologne that really sealed it, Brad Hutchinson's signature scent. I'd smelled it on Sophia's clothes enough times, masked by her explanations of close quarters during meetings and shared elevator rides. So instead of confronting Sophia, I got creative. That afternoon at the shop, while Luis Morales and I were working on a set of exhaust manifolds for the county hospital, I found myself thinking about the chemical storage room in the back. Luis noticed my distraction. We've been working together for 6 years, and he can read my moods better than my own wife apparently could. "You okay, hermano?" Luis asked, pulling off his welding mask. "You've been staring at that joint for 5 minutes without striking an arc." "Just thinking about a project at home," I replied, which wasn't entirely a lie. "Woman troubles?" Luis has been married to Carmen for 12 years, knows the look. "Something like that." Luis set down his torch and leaned against the workbench. "You want to talk about it, or you want to work it out with sparks and steel?" "Work it out," I said. "But first, I need to review some of our chemical inventory for a side project." "What kind of side project needs industrial chemicals?" "The educational kind." That evening, while Sophia showered, I carefully examined those birth control pills with the same precision I used to inspect weld joints under magnification. Different pharmaceutical company, different dosage, different everything. These weren't the pills she'd been taking. These were pills she'd been hiding while telling me we were trying to be more careful. The cologne was even more telling. Armani Code. The expensive stuff that Brad Hutchinson wore, like it was his personal trademark. I'd seen him at Sophia's company Christmas parties. Watched him work the room with that entitled swagger that comes from thinking your business degree makes you superior to everyone who works with their hands. But it was the lubricant that gave me the idea. Premium quality, specifically formulated for sensitive skin. Perfect for what I had in mind. I made my way to the garage where I keep my personal welding supplies and project materials. Hidden behind my acetylene tanks and spare electrodes was a small collection of chemicals I'd accumulated over the years. Industrial solvents, cleaning agents, and specialty compounds that sometimes came in handy for unusual welding applications. Methylene blue caught my eye first. Medical-grade dye that we occasionally used for detecting microscopic cracks in pressure vessels. The stuff was designed to penetrate deeply and resist washing away. Exactly what I needed. Mixed with the right concentration of capsaicin extract, which I kept on hand for cleaning stubborn flux residue, it would create something memorable. The beauty of methylene blue is its persistence. Unlike food coloring or regular dyes, medical-grade methylene blue bonds with organic tissue and takes weeks to fade completely. It's also completely harmless in small concentrations, which meant I wasn't actually poisoning anyone, just educating them about consequences. That night, I worked with the same precision I applied to critical welds. Half the lubricant's contents went down the garage drain, replaced with my carefully mixed solution. The birth control pills got special treatment too. A precision needle applied with the kind of accuracy that comes from years of working with materials where a single mistake can mean the difference between a perfect joint and a catastrophic failure. For maximum educational effect, I muttered to myself, channeling the same focus I used when welding high-pressure steam lines. The protection products required even more delicate work. Using a needle from my welding repair kit, I created microscopic punctures, invisible to casual inspection, but large enough to ensure maximum unreliability when performance mattered most. Sophia emerged from the bathroom wrapped in a towel, looking like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. After 8 years of marriage, I'd learned to read her expressions, her body language, the little tells that indicated when she was being less than honest. Tonight, all those tells were screaming. "How was your day, honey?" she asked. Same routine as always, same innocent smile that used to make my heart skip. "Same old grind," I replied, watching her face for any sign of guilt. Nothing. She could have won awards for that performance. Finished up the hospital ventilation project with Luis. How about you? How was your day at Hutchinson Medical? Busy, really busy. Brad's got us working on this huge equipment order for a hospital chain in Austin. Lots of late meetings, lots of coordination work. Over dinner, she mentioned working late again. Big equipment order coming up. Brad wants the whole team to pull extra hours at that conference center in Austin. Team building and strategy sessions. Brad Hutchinson, regional sales manager. 38 years old, recently divorced, drives a silver BMW like it's a status symbol instead of transportation. Smooth-talking college boy type who thinks his business degree makes him God's gift to married women, especially ones who work for him. "Which conference center?" I asked casually, cutting into my steak with the same precision I used to cut metal. "The roadside inn by Interstate 35. You know, the one with the business meeting rooms." Her voice was steady, practiced. She'd been rehearsing this lie. The roadside inn. I knew it well. Not for business meetings, but because every tradesman in town knew it was where rooms rented by the hour if you knew the right desk clerk to ask. The kind of place that catered to affairs and quick encounters, not corporate strategy sessions. "Sounds like important work," I said, keeping my voice neutral. "What time do you expect to be home?" "Late, probably around 10 or 11. Don't wait up." That night, while Sophia slept peacefully beside me, probably dreaming about her upcoming business meeting, I made my final preparations. Modern technology is beautiful when you know how to use it, and a small GPS tracker, the kind used for tracking expensive equipment on job sites, found its way under her car seat. 3 days passed. 3 days of normal routine, normal conversations, normal lies. Sophia left for work each morning with a kiss on the cheek and came home each evening with stories about meetings and deadlines and the demanding pace of medical equipment sales. On Wednesday afternoon, my phone buzzed with a location alert. Sophia's car was parked at the roadside inn at 2 p.m. during what she'd claimed was a client presentation downtown. I called in sick for the rest of the day, told Luis I had food poisoning, and drove over to see what kind of business meeting required a roadside motel in the middle of the afternoon. I parked behind a contractor's truck with a clear view of the parking lot, settled in with a thermos of coffee, and waited. The roadside inn looked exactly like what it was. A place where people went when they didn't want to be seen. 2 stories of faded brick and peeling paint, with rooms that faced away from the main highway and parking spaces that offered plenty of shadows. 20 minutes later, Sophia emerged from room 127, adjusting her hair and smoothing down the blue dress I'd bought her for our anniversary last year. the same dress she'd worn maybe 3 times since then, claiming it was too fancy for everyday wear. Behind her walked Hutchinson himself, straightening his tie with the satisfied smirk of a man who just closed a big deal. I watched them embrace in the parking lot, not a professional handshake or polite goodbye, but the kind of lingering kiss that left lipstick on his collar and my marriage in ruins. Sophia was wearing that red lingerie set visible through her dress, the one she'd claimed was too uncomfortable for regular wear, but apparently just fine for afternoon affairs. My phone camera captured everything: timestamps, GPS coordinates, their faces clear as daylight in the afternoon sun. But photos weren't enough. I needed the full performance, needed to understand exactly what I was dealing with before I made my next move. Back at the shop the next day, Luis noticed my improved mood immediately. "You're welding like a machine today, Hermano. Whatever you worked out at home, it agrees with you." "Just got some clarity on a project," I replied, running a perfect bead along a stainless steel joint. Sometimes you need to see the full scope before you can plan your approach. Speaking of projects, you figure out what you needed those chemicals for? Educational purposes, very educational. The following week, I called in sick and established proper surveillance. Nothing dramatic, just a patient man with binoculars, a thermos of coffee, and the same attention to detail that kept me alive working around high-voltage welding equipment. Every Tuesday and Thursday, same dance. Sophia would text me about overtime meetings, then drive straight to the roadside inn. On Thursday, I booked room 125, directly adjacent to their usual spot. The roadside inn might charge reasonable rates, but the walls were thin enough to hear conversations through the ventilation system, especially if you knew where to position yourself. What I heard through those walls changed everything. "Her husband's completely clueless," Hutchinson's voice drifted through the shared wall. "Sophia says he spends more time with welding torches than with her. Poor bastard probably thinks romance is buying her a new socket wrench set." Sophia's laugh was like fingernails on a chalkboard. "Jake's sweet, but he's so predictable. Boring, really. You know what excitement he brought to our marriage last month? A new toolbox for the garage. He was so proud of the organization system. What he doesn't know won't hurt him," Hutchinson chuckled. "Besides, it's not like he could compete anyway. I mean, look at us. You've got ambition, intelligence, class. What's he got? Dirty fingernails and a high school education. Don't be mean, Brad. He's a good man. He's just limited. When I married him, I thought that was enough. I thought stability and reliability would be enough. But I need more than that. I need someone who understands my potential. You deserve someone who can match your sophistication. Someone who moves in the same circles, understands the same references. When's the last time he took you somewhere that required a dinner reservation?" "I can't remember. Last week he suggested dinner at that barbecue place by the highway, the one where they give you paper towels instead of napkins." They spent the next hour systematically dismantling my character, my career, my prospects, even my choice in restaurants. Every insult was carefully cataloged, filed away for future reference. When they finally left, Hutchinson strutting like a peacock in his expensive suit, Sophia practically glowing with the kind of confidence that comes from feeling superior to your own husband. I made my move. His silver BMW sat under a parking lot security light, pristine and perfect like everything else in his carefully managed life. I didn't touch it, didn't need to. I had bigger plans, more elegant plans that would make vandalizing his car look like amateur hour. Sophia came home that evening complaining about stomach cramps. "I think I ate something bad at lunch," she groaned, making her third trip to the bathroom in 20 minutes. "My stomach feels like it's on fire." "Poor baby," I said, offering her ginger ale and all the sympathy I could fake. "Maybe you should take tomorrow easy. Food poisoning can really knock you down." "I can't take time off. Too much work. Brad's depending on me for this Austin project." "I'm sure Brad would understand if you're genuinely sick." "You don't understand the pressure I'm under. This promotion opportunity could change everything for us." For us. Right? The next morning, my work buddy Luis called with interesting news. We were just starting our shift, setting up to work on a custom ventilation system for the new medical center, when his phone rang. "Dude, you'll never believe what happened to that sales manager from Hutchinson Medical yesterday," Luis said, pulling off his welding gloves. "Carmen heard about it from her sister, who works at the emergency clinic." What kind of thing? I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral while I adjusted my welding mask. Had some kind of medical emergency during his power lunch at the country club. Explosive digestive issues right there in the middle of the dining room. Carmen said her sister heard they had to call paramedics. I nearly choked on my coffee. No kidding. Word is they had to evacuate half the dining room. Guy was doubled over, sweating bullets, couldn't stop. Well, you get the picture. They're saying it might have been food poisoning, but who knows? Rich guys like that probably eat all kinds of fancy stuff that doesn't agree with regular people's stomachs. Sounds embarrassing. Embarrassing doesn't cover it. Carmen's sister said they had to call his company to come pick him up because he was in no condition to drive. Apparently his BMW's still sitting in the country club parking lot. Phase 1 was working perfectly, but I kept my expression neutral, focused on the welding project in front of us. Luis and I spent the morning working on exhaust manifolds, the kind of precision work that requires complete attention to detail. But part of my mind was already planning Phase 2. 2 weeks later, Sophia came home pale and shaking. She sat me down at our kitchen table, her hands trembling as she reached for mine. The same hands that had been all over Brad Hutchinson just hours earlier, though she didn't know I knew that. "Jake, we need to talk," she whispered. "Something terrible happened today." I felt my heart rate spike, not from concern but from anticipation. "What kind of something?" "There was an incident at the hotel. At the conference center. Brad and we were reviewing documents for the Austin project, and something went terribly wrong." "What kind of wrong?" I asked, though I already knew exactly what kind of wrong. Sophia's face crumpled like she'd seen a ghost. "We both ended up in the emergency room. There was some kind of chemical reaction. We're both covered in this blue stuff that won't wash off. It burns, Jake. It burns everywhere." I had to bite the inside of my cheek to keep from grinning. "Chemical reaction? At a business meeting?" The doctor said it looks like medical dye mixed with some kind of irritant. "Brad thinks someone deliberately sabotaged us. He wants to call the police, maybe hire a private investigator. He's talking about filing assault charges." "That's terrible," I said, mustering all the concern I could fake while studying her face. The faint blue tinge around her hairline was already visible, and her eyes were red and puffy from what I knew was capsaicin exposure. "Are you okay? Do you need to go back to the hospital?" She shook her head, tears streaming down her cheeks, leaving blue-tinted tracks on her skin. "I already went. They gave me some cream for the burning, but the blue dye, they say it might take weeks to fade completely." "Weeks, Jake? How am I supposed to go to work looking like this? How am I supposed to explain this to people?" That evening, while Sophia soaked in an oatmeal bath trying to ease the irritation, I got a call from Luis. His voice was barely contained excitement mixed with disbelief. "Jake, you gotta hear this," he whispered into the phone. "Carmen's working a double shift at the emergency room tonight. They had the craziest case this afternoon. 2 people came in covered head to toe in bright blue dye, screaming about burning sensations all over their bodies." "That's wild," I replied, keeping my voice carefully neutral while watching Sophia through the bathroom door. She looked like she'd been dunked in a vat of industrial coolant. "Here's the kicker. It happened during what was obviously an affair. Guy's some big shot sales manager from that medical supply company, woman's married to someone else. Both of them trying to explain to doctors why they were in a hotel room together, covered in mystery chemicals, half naked and blue as Smurfs." Sounds embarrassing. Embarrassing doesn't cover it, Hermano. Carmen said there were other patients filming with their phones before security could stop them. This thing's going viral on social media. Blue lovers caught in chemical romance is trending on TikTok. Someone even set it to music. I hung up and allowed myself a small smile. Phase 2 was exceeding all expectations. The next morning brought fresh developments that would have made a lesser man feel guilty. Sophia emerged from our bedroom looking like a refugee from a science experiment gone wrong. The methylene blue had settled into her skin overnight, creating a mottled pattern that no amount of makeup could cover. Her face, neck, and hands were stained various shades of blue, and her eyes were still red and puffy from the capsaicin residue. "I can't go to work like this," she wailed, staring at herself in the hallway mirror like she was seeing a stranger. "Everyone will see. Everyone will ask questions. Everyone will know." "Maybe you should call in sick," I suggested, pouring myself coffee with steady hands. Tell them you had an allergic reaction to something. Medical emergency, completely understandable. For how long? The doctor said this could take 3 to 4 weeks to fade completely. I can't hide at home for a month. I'm sure your boss will understand. What's his name again? Brad? I'm sure Brad will be very understanding about your situation. My phone rang before Sophia could answer. Hutchinson's name flashed on the screen. Sophia lunged for it like her life depended on it, but I answered first. Jake, this is Brad Hutchinson from Sophia's company. His voice was hoarse and desperate, probably from hours of screaming in the emergency room. We need to talk immediately. There's been a serious incident involving your wife. Oh? I replied with perfect innocence. What kind of incident? Someone deliberately sabotaged us, poisoned us. This was a premeditated attack, and I have reason to believe you might be involved. Sophia was frantically shaking her head, mouthing, "Don't say anything," while her blue-stained hands gestured desperately. That's a very serious accusation, Mr. Hutchinson, I said calmly, setting down my coffee cup with deliberate precision. Are you saying someone tried to hurt my wife? Your wife and I were conducting legitimate business yesterday when we were both exposed to some kind of chemical weapon. We're talking about felony assault charges here, possible attempted murder. Business? I let the word hang in the air like welding smoke. What kind of business requires you to be in a hotel room together, Mr. Hutchinson? Silence on the other end. Sophia's face went white beneath the blue tint, making her look like a two-tone nightmare. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about, Hutchinson finally said, his corporate lawyer instincts kicking in about 3 hours too late. Actually, I don't, I replied cheerfully. But I'd be very happy to discuss it. Maybe we should meet somewhere public, with witnesses present. I'm sure my lawyer would love to hear about the business you've been conducting with my wife. Your lawyer. Oh yes, see, I've been documenting some very interesting patterns in Sophia's behavior lately. Unexplained absences, mysterious purchases, hotel receipts that don't match her claimed whereabouts. I'm sure it's all perfectly innocent. But in situations like this, it's important to have proper legal representation. The line went quiet except for Hutchinson's ragged breathing and what sounded like someone crying in the background. I'm hanging up now, he said finally, but this conversation isn't over. No, I agreed. I don't think it is. After I hung up, Sophia stared at me with a mixture of horror and dawning realization. You did this, she whispered. You knew about us. You planned this whole thing. Knew about what? I asked innocently. Don't play dumb, Jake. You sabotaged You put something in the... She couldn't finish the sentence, couldn't bring herself to admit what she'd been doing. I put something in what, Sophia? Your work supplies? Your business materials? I was enjoying this more than I probably should have, but 8 years of marriage and 4 months of lies had earned me this moment. Or are you talking about the personal lubricant I found in your purse? The one sitting next to those birth control pills that you supposedly can't take? Her face crumpled like wet paper. It's not what you think. Really? Because what I think is that my wife has been having an affair with her boss for months, lying to my face every single day, and using our money to pay for hotel rooms where she can mock my marriage and my manhood with her, love her. That's not true. Should we call the roadside inn and ask about their security footage? Or maybe check your phone records for all those work-related text messages you've been sending to Mr. Hutchinson at all hours of the day and night? Sophia sank into a kitchen chair, the blue dye on her skin making her look like a defeated cartoon character. Around her eyes, the staining was particularly dark, giving her a raccoon-like appearance that would have been funny if it weren't so pathetic. How long have you known? She asked quietly. Long enough to get creative. She looked up at me with red-rimmed eyes that were starting to water again. What do you want? I want you to understand something, I said, sitting across from her at our kitchen table, the same table where we'd eaten breakfast together every morning for 8 years, where she'd kissed me goodbye before driving off to meet her lover. For months, you and Hutchinson have been playing games with my life, laughing at me, planning around me, treating me like some pathetic fool who couldn't see what was happening in his own marriage. Jake, I'm not finished. My voice carried the same authority I used when training new welders, the kind of tone that said interruption wasn't an option. You used our home as your base of operations. You used our bed to plan your affairs. You used our money to buy supplies for your romantic adventures. You used our marriage as cover for your deception. And through it all, you looked me in the eye every morning and lied. She was crying now, blue-tinted tears running down her cheeks like some kind of twisted modern art. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry. It just happened. Brad was charming and sophisticated, and you were always working, and I felt neglected and unappreciated. Stop." I held up a hand stained with years of honest work. "Just stop with the excuses. You made choices, adult choices, deliberate choices. Now you get to live with adult consequences." My phone buzzed with a text message. Unknown number, but I had a pretty good idea who it was. The message was from Hutchinson. "We need to meet. This has gone too far. I'm prepared to offer compensation for your discretion." I showed the message to Sophia, whose eyes widened in disbelief. "He's trying to buy his way out? Apparently your boyfriend thinks everything has a price." "He's not my boyfriend. It was just physical. It didn't mean anything." 4 months of hotel meetings didn't mean anything. 4 months of lies and deception and mocking your husband didn't mean anything. I shook my head. "You're still lying, Sophia. Even now, covered in blue dye and facing the consequences of your choices, you're still lying." That afternoon, while Sophia hid in our bedroom trying various home remedies to remove the blue staining, I received a visitor. Brad Hutchinson stood on my front porch looking like he'd been dunked in a vat of industrial dye. The methylene blue had settled into his skin even worse than Sophia's, probably because he'd been more thoroughly exposed to the mixture. His face, neck, and hands were stained various shades of blue, and his expensive suit was ruined beyond salvation. "We need to talk," he said through gritted teeth, his usual corporate smoothness replaced by barely controlled desperation. "Absolutely," I agreed, stepping outside and closing the door behind me. I wanted this conversation to happen where the neighbors could see and hear everything. Mrs. Patterson, our elderly landlady who owned the duplex next door, was watering her garden with obvious interest. Across the street, Jim Morrison was washing his truck, but paying more attention to our conversation than his vehicle. Perfect. "You poisoned us," Hutchinson stated flatly, his lawyer training showing through the panic. "I don't know how you did it, but I know it was you." "Poisoned you?" I looked genuinely confused, the same expression I used when a customer tried to blame me for their equipment failure. "Mr. Hutchinson, are you feeling all right? You look unwell." "Very unwell, actually." "Cut the crap, Jake. You found out about the affair and you booby-trapped something. I want to know what it was and how you did it." I pulled out my phone and started recording, making sure the motion was visible to everyone watching. "I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You mentioned an affair. An affair involving whom?" His eyes widened as he realized what he'd just admitted on camera. Stop recording right now." "This is my property, Mr. Hutchinson. I have every legal right to record conversations that take place here. Now, you were saying something about an affair involving my wife? You know perfectly well what I'm talking about." "Actually, I don't know anything for certain, but you just confessed to having an affair with Sophia on my security camera." I pointed to the small device mounted under our porch eaves. "Would you like to elaborate on that confession?" Hutchinson's face went from blue to purple, a fascinating color combination that I made sure to capture from multiple angles. "You can't use that recording in court." "Actually, I can. Texas is a one-party consent state for recordings, and since we're on my property, I have even broader rights. This entire conversation is completely legal and admissible." He looked around frantically, noticing for the first time that Mrs. Patterson had moved closer to the fence line and Jim Morrison had stopped even pretending to wash his truck. A few other neighbors had emerged from their houses, drawn by the spectacle of a blue-stained man in an expensive suit having a breakdown on my front porch. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice dropping to a desperate whisper. "What do I want?" I pretended to consider the question while the camera kept rolling. "Well, let's see. I want my wife to stop lying to me about her whereabouts. I want her to stop using our money to fund her romantic adventures. I want you to stop seducing married women in cheap hotel rooms. And I want both of you to understand that actions have consequences." "This was assault," Hutchinson said desperately. "Chemical assault. I could have you arrested." "For what? You still haven't told me what I supposedly did. And more importantly, You still haven't explained what you were doing in a hotel room with my wife when this mysterious chemical incident occurred. He was trapped, and he knew it. Any complaint he filed would require him to admit to the affair, explain why he was in a hotel room with Sophia during work hours, and detail exactly how he came to be exposed to whatever had turned him blue. I want you to stay away from my wife, he said finally, grasping for some kind of authority. Funny thing, I replied, I was about to say the same thing to you. I'm prepared to offer you compensation for your discretion. $20,000 cash in exchange for your silence about this whole situation. The neighbors were close enough now to hear everything. Mrs. Patterson's eyes went wide. Jim Morrison actually laughed out loud. I made sure to capture Hutchinson's bribery attempt, clearly on camera. That's very generous, I said, but I have a counteroffer. I'm listening. You resign from your position, leave town, and never contact my wife again. In return, I don't send this recording to the Texas State Bar Association's Ethics Committee. You can't be serious. Oh, I'm very serious. You see, Brad, I've done some research on you. This isn't your first affair with a subordinate employee, is it? There was that claims adjuster in Houston 3 years ago, and the office manager in Dallas before that. The State Bar might be very interested in a pattern of predatory behavior toward female employees. Silence stretched between us while Hutchinson processed the implications. You're blackmailing me, he said finally. I'm offering you a choice. The same kind of choice you offered me when you decided to seduce my wife and mock my marriage in hotel rooms. The difference is, I'm doing it openly, with witnesses, while you operated in secret. This is extortion. No, this is consequences. You can take my offer, or you can explain to your partners why their regional sales manager is featured in viral videos titled, Blue Executive Caught in Chemical Affair. Your choice. Mrs. Patterson chose that moment to walk over with a pitcher of iced tea. Jake, honey, is everything all right? Your friend here looks like he's had some kind of accident. Everything's fine, Mrs. Patterson. Mr. Hutchinson was just telling me about a workplace incident at his company. Apparently there was some kind of chemical spill during a business meeting. Oh my, Mrs. Patterson said, looking Hutchinson up and down with the kind of frank assessment that only elderly women can get away with. You poor thing. What kind of business? Meeting involves that much chemical exposure? Hutchinson turned and stalked back to his BMW, which looked even more ridiculous now with a blue-stained driver behind the wheel. As he drove away, Mrs. Patterson shook her head sympathetically. Some people just don't know how to handle industrial chemicals safely, she observed. Good thing you work with that stuff every day, Jake. You know how dangerous it can be when people who don't know what they're doing start mixing things together. Yes, ma'am, I agreed. Safety first, always. That evening, Sophia confronted me directly about the day's events. She stood in our living room, still blue, but wearing her best attempt at righteous indignation like armor. Brad says you threatened him, she announced. He says you're trying to destroy his career with some kind of blackmail scheme. Am I? I asked, not looking up from my laptop, where I was reviewing welding specifications for Monday's project. Are you? Are you pregnant, Sophia? The question came out of nowhere and hit her like a physical blow. What? Why would you ask that? Because that's usually the next lie in situations like this. The desperate attempt to save a marriage by claiming pregnancy. So, I thought I'd ask directly, are you carrying anyone's child? Her face went red beneath the blue staining. That's a horrible thing to say. It's a simple question. Yes or no? No, I'm not pregnant. Good. Because according to my records, we haven't been intimate since February 14th. It's now May 28th. So either you're claiming to be over 3 months pregnant and just now noticing, or you'd be carrying Brad Hutchinson's child. Neither scenario seemed appealing. Sophia stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. When did you become so cold, so calculating? The morning I found evidence of your affair in your purse. The moment I realized my wife had been lying to my face for 4 months while planning her next hotel meeting with her boss. I never meant for this to happen. But it did happen, every Tuesday and Thursday for 4 months. Room 127 at the Roadside Inn. 2 hours each time, paid for with money from our joint checking account. Her shoulders slumped in defeat. You know everything. I know enough. The divorce papers were filed the following Monday. Sophia didn't contest anything. She couldn't afford a lawyer and had no legal ground to stand on. The evidence was overwhelming. Hotel receipts, GPS tracking data, photographs with timestamps, audio recordings of their conversations, and most damning of all, Hutchinson's own recorded confession on my front porch. I kept the house, the savings account, both trucks, and my welding equipment. Sophia kept her student loans, credit card debt, and a reputation that would follow her around our small town for years to come. The settlement was swift and decisive, like a clean cut through metal. No ragged edges, no second chances. Hutchinson's downfall was even more spectacular than I'd hoped. Within 2 weeks of our front porch conversation, he'd been transferred to the company's El Paso office, corporate speak for, get this embarrassment as far away as possible. What they called a lateral move, everyone knew was exile to the company's smallest, least profitable regional office. Luis filled me in on the details during our lunch break, having heard the gossip through Carmen's network of medical industry contacts. Word is his partners weren't happy about the viral videos, Luis said, unwrapping his sandwich. Bad for the company image, having their regional sales manager turn up blue on social media in some kind of sex scandal. Viral videos? I asked, though I'd seen them myself. Oh man, you haven't seen them? Someone filmed him and your ex-wife coming out of the emergency room looking like blue Smurfs. The hospital had to call security to stop people from taking pictures, but it was too late. The videos are everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. People are making memes out of them. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate for him. Carmen said they had to transfer him because clients were asking questions. Hard to sell medical equipment when your sales manager is famous for getting mysteriously dyed blue during an affair. 3 weeks later, I heard through Mrs. Patterson that Hutchinson's BMW had been repossessed right from the Hutchinson Medical Supply parking lot. Apparently, the combination of a pay cut from his transfer and the legal bills from trying to salvage his reputation had put him in financial trouble. Such a shame, Mrs. Patterson observed while we shared coffee on her porch. Young man like that, throwing away his career over married women. Some people just don't have proper priorities. Some people make poor choices, I agreed. Your ex-wife's not doing much better from what I hear. Jenny Morrison saw her working at that truck stop diner out by the interstate, living in one of those weekly rental apartments behind the gas station. I nodded, but didn't comment. Sophia's downward spiral wasn't something I took pleasure in, but it wasn't something I felt guilty about either. Actions had consequences, and she was experiencing hers. 6 months later, I was sitting at Murphy's Tavern with Luis and the rest of our work crew, watching Monday Night Football and enjoying the first completely peaceful evening I'd had in years. The shop had just landed a major contract with the new hospital expansion project, which meant steady work and good money for the next 18 months. Ever wonder what happened to that sales guy? Luis asked during a commercial break, nursing his second beer. Not really, I replied honestly. Don't care. Heard he's selling insurance now in El Paso, door-to-door stuff for one of those fly-by-night companies. Carmen's cousin lives down there, says he saw him going house to house in some run-down neighborhood, carrying a briefcase and looking desperate. Quite a come-down from medical equipment sales. And your ex-wife, Sophia, what about her? Last I heard, she's working double shifts at that truck stop diner, trying to pay off her credit cards, living with her sister in one of those efficiency apartments by the railroad tracks. You feel bad about any of it? Should I? Luis considered the question seriously. They lied to you for months, spent your money on hotel rooms, mocked you behind your back, and showed no remorse until they got caught. You gave them exactly what they gave you, consequences for their choices. People make choices, I said, echoing words I'd spoken before. Adults live with adult consequences. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it without reading, but curiosity got the better of me. Jake, this is Sophia. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I need you to know something. I realize now what I lost when I lost you. Brad was never going to leave his world for me. He was never going to choose me over his reputation or his career. I threw away 8 years of marriage for 4 months of lies and excitement that turned out to be nothing but selfishness. I know you'll never forgive me, and I don't deserve forgiveness, but I wanted you to know that I understand now what I had, what I destroyed. You were a good husband, and I was a terrible wife. I hope you find someone who appreciates you the way I should have. I showed the message to Luis, who read it and shook his head. Too little, too late. Way too late, I agreed, deleting the message without responding. Some guys hire private investigators when they want revenge. Some go for dramatic confrontations or public scenes. Some key cars or spread rumors or make anonymous phone calls to employers. Me? I prefer a more scientific approach, a little chemistry, a lot of patience, and the understanding that the best revenge isn't destroying your enemies. It's making them destroy themselves. I finished my beer, paid my tab, and walked out into the cool evening air. Behind me, Murphy's Tavern buzzed with conversation and laughter, life continuing as it always does. But now I was part of it instead of being the fool everyone whispered about. Tomorrow would bring another day at the shop, more welding projects, more honest work with my hands creating things instead of destroying them. There might be new challenges, new opportunities, maybe even new relationships built on honesty instead of deception. But tonight, I was free. Free of their lies, their games, their toxic drama. Free to build a life based on truth instead of deception. Respect instead of mockery. Loyalty instead of betrayal. I drove home to my quiet house where nobody was lying to me, where nobody was planning betrayals over breakfast, where I could sleep peacefully without wondering where my spouse really was or who they were really with. Some people might say I went too far, that turning someone blue and destroying their careers was excessive punishment for an affair. But those people didn't spend 4 months being systematically lied to and humiliated. They didn't discover evidence of betrayal while looking for car keys. They didn't overhear their spouse laughing about their inadequacies with their lover. I gave Sophia and Hutchinson exactly what they gave me, a masterclass in consequences. The only difference was mine came with a dash of methylene blue for emphasis, and a precision that only comes from 15 years of working with dangerous materials. And honestly, I haven't lost a minute of sleep over it. The best part? Every time someone in town sees medical equipment or bright blue work shirts, they remember the blue affair and smile. Sophia and Hutchinson became a cautionary tale, a reminder that in small towns, secrets don't stay secret for long, and chemistry has a way of evening the score. Meanwhile, I've got my house, my peace of mind, my self-respect, and a reputation as the guy who turned adultery into performance art. Not everyone gets to become a local legend for their divorce story. Some people settle for closure. I went for color, and let me tell you, methylene blue was exactly the right choice.